something that gives you leverage in life. The other person who wrote about this is a Hawaiian guy named Robert Kiyosaki. Rich Dad, Poor Dad. The book is poorly written. I'll save you the reading. This is an awesome concept, the cash flow quadrant. If you're an employee, you're working in someone else's pyramid. They'll pay you a little bit more than what you would quit on. If you have your own business, generally the job owes you. What you want is a business with a system. It may not be Ronald McDonald and the Golden Arches. It might be a new form of franchising called network marketing. Take the excess money and invest it in income real estate, said Robert Kiyosaki until 2006, when he warned that America was in a property bubble and you've got to stop borrowing money to buy rental property for income. It was very prescient. He anticipated the downturn. I think it was 3 years later he wrote The Business of the 21st Century, which he recommended that every American find a network marketing company whose products they would consume anyway, whose compensation was worth their valuable time, and whose ethics and management appealed to them. Next slide. I'm Scottish, I'm always looking at the downside. Okay? There are pros and cons to our business, and you're going to get objections from people about this business. Let's go right to them. Everything that's good about it is bad, because it's so easy to join and so easy to quit, both at the company, at the individual entrepreneur level and the company level. What you get is churn and attrition. How many people have experienced that someone says, I'm going to do this, and 2 days later they're not answering a text? We call it go dark. Elvis has left the building. The Indians have left the reservation. That's a terrible racist comment. We have words for that. You can work to your own schedule. Isn't that great? Uh-oh. Wow, I got to clean the fridge. I got to balance my checkbook. This desk is really messy, and you're not making the phone calls you need to. There's no inventory. I run a business, pays me and my partner $600,000 a year with $1,000, $2,000 of inventory in the grand piano. Beware of front loading. There are companies where you have to pay $5,000 to join. You can with us, and we'll show you what happens. 90% of your money back if it doesn't work. Who loves paperwork? Who loves making rent? I don't. But there's no water cooler. People like going to a company and gathering around the water cooler and like who's sleeping with the boss and stuff like that. We have romance in our firm. There's some amazing relationships to develop out of it, but it doesn't affect the power structure whatsoever. It's a high tech and high touch. You must follow up. And some people aren't into that. When you put someone on age lock youth, you have to call that patient 2 days afterwards. Because likely they're not even taking it, which is why you teach them how to take a capsule, because they don't know how to take a capsule. They go like that, which is the wrong way. You have them break the seal, take it, and they're liable to continue taking it. Call them 2 days later because maybe they're having a reaction. Will GNC call them and say, how are you liking that fen-phen weight loss thing that killed a lot of people? I love that it's totally related to your effort and your leadership. Doesn't matter your gender, your race, your religion, your political leaning. It's all about the numbers. My mom was horrified. Harvard Business School, Yale undergraduate, and you're doing Amway? Horrified. Until, I like to say, usually the story is until I bought Mom a car. And that's what the Vietnamese story typically is. She was horrified until I bought her a car. My mom turned around when we turned my dad's health around. He was sliding into a little bit of dementia. We put him on a product called Vitality that turned him around. Mom was good. Too. Yeah? You can start part-time in the cracks of a busy life. Don't quit your day job. Have you guys quit your day job? No, but you have. I'm retired. But you must be organized, right? And that's a problem I have. My friend calls it on breadcrumbs. I leave stuff behind me all the time. Next, it's global. So when the economy in Silicon Valley turns down, which it never does, right? Once or twice a millennium. You've got business growing in other countries. You got to like travel because you can start the business via Facebook and email, and then a phone call, and eventually you have to look people in the eye, and you have to put the product on them. The number one reason why people buy from network marketing companies is the chance to try the product, not to help a friend. So you got to put the product on them. Last thing, the number one problem with network marketing is this: rejection. Who here has ever experienced rejection in this game or in life? Is it fun?
No.
So, Kayla, I'm going to ask you a question. This may not interest you at all, but if there were a magic question that you never felt like you were pushing or selling, and the other person never felt like they were sold to or pressured, would you want to know what that magic question is?
Yes.
Okay, that is the magic question. I just gave her the magic question in that question, so it was a trick question.
Oh.
Did you get it? Did you get it? Did you get it? How easy it was for you to say yes?
Yes.
So what did I say to her? Kayla, this may not interest you at all. What did I do? This may not interest you at all. How does that make you feel?
But it's like, well, okay. It might not interest me, so I could listen to it.
Right? So at least, did it make you curious a little bit?
Yeah.
Right. Because I leaned back versus, Kayla, you're going to be awesome at this. This is really, you're going to love this. How does that make you feel?
I'm going.
Yeah. When you lean back and create space, people, and there's all sorts of words for this. Permission marketing, permission to say no, an easy exit. It's just a posture you have. It's like when you go to attract a cat, do you run toward the cat? No, they'll run away. How do you attract a cat? Anyone here like cats? I love cats. Okay, how do you attract a cat?
You let them come to you.
Right. Okay. You get out just outside their territory, which is for most cats about this far. Feral cats are further. And you get down small, so tall, and you do your fingers like this. Maybe there's tuna. And the motion, because they're predators, they have to come and check to see if there's tuna. Our tuna is age lock. And just don't run toward people with it. Just that's the attitude and the posture you have. And then what I did is I said, if there were a benefit, would you at least take a good hard look at it? And we teach you language like that. It doesn't just work in Nuskin, it works all through your life. This is a self-development journey masquerading as a business opportunity. And all the things that will teach you that will make you more effective in this, and they're short trainings, or you can continue, life training should never end in life. They're books that we have you to read that will improve all aspects of your life. Now this only works for a little bit with your spouse. My wife says when I go, Leah, this may not interest you at all, she cuts me right off. when I handle her objections, the other thing is objection, you got rejection, the other side of it is objection. There's 4 major objections to our business by which people reject us, and we teach something called feel, felt, found. So you feel like you don't like sales. Well, a lot of people have felt the same way, but we have found that. We teach little word things like this, empathic listening it's called. But it does, after a while it wears thin on Leah. Next slide. These are the top players in it. The business Amway started, or actually it was the second company, there was a smaller company that went out of business. It's everything, you can buy a Brooks Brothers suit. It started with a non-toxic dishwashing liquid when people had Victory Gardens in the 1950s. It's a 3-level, 5, 4, 3% breakaway system. I'll show you the numbers later. Nuskin is a private company in Japan, $6 billion in sales, selling ionized water. There is a valid theory about the inside of our body is alkaline, our skin is acidic, and when we're drinking carbonated beverages, it's acid and it's pro-cancer. You sell one water filter to a family and you're done. I never understood their magnets. Mickey Prune is a testimony to Japanese giri, which is obligation. $4 billion of prune juice sales. Unbelievable. They also have sort of generic vitamins. Next one, Herbalife is a listed company, and they're about weight loss. I don't want to criticize competitors. I've never understood their compensation. Everyone who goes on their weight loss shakes gains all the weight back and more. We're anti-aging. We're listed on the New York Stock Exchange. We're an Asian company. How many people in this room are Asians? Fair number. 80% of the Americans who are doing this successfully are Asians, and we can speculate about why that is. Melaleuca, I was a member, non-toxic household cleansers. Next is, there's a Over 1,000 of these companies start every single year. Let's start a network marketing company selling Hawaiian combs. You buy 5, you get her to buy 5, you buy 5. It will cost us about $20,000 in software and legal fees to start that company. So, you know, let's do this. You know, and then we'll take off to Tahiti by about 18 months when we're rich. And this happens over and over and over in our industry. That's why it has a poor reputation. There's probably only 5 companies in this industry that are worth your time. And the same thing happened in franchising. In the 1950s, by 1957, franchising, there was legislation to ban franchising in 7 states because of the abuses. After golden arches with silver arches and bronze arches. And how did you decide? So you sent $15,000 for a bronze arch franchise, and they took off to Tahiti when they collected 200 people. Or you got a silver arches franchise, and the French fry machine wasn't working, and they didn't answer your call. You've got, if you're going to select any business, you've got to do a little due diligence. If you spent $100,000 in a business, you would. But because it's free to join, people just look at the hype and they join. This is both the good thing about our business and the negative. I'm hoping that you and everyone you talk to, you're going to educate and to be a little bit more discerning and to make a decision based on logic and not hype. Does this all make sense? I mean, do some of you, I mean, you're relatively new to this. Have you heard a lot of negative things about network marketing? Or have you?
Well, yes.
Right? We do. Is this becoming clear what the problem is with it? A little
Yes.
bit. Okay. Okay, next. 5 years later, 1,000 companies, you basically put your heart and your reputation, you talk to all your families and friends, and you're done in 2 years when the company goes out of business. This is the problem. So how do you select a company? You want to be growth, we're in health and wellness. You want proprietary, we're age locked, 75 PhD scientists on staff. Stop a minute. Go back, go back.
Oops.
Start forward, I'll tell you where to stop. Boom, boom. Stop. Okay. You know, look, we know that this is a growth business. There's so many businesses out there. Anti-aging is huge, you know? And what's our differentiation? 75 research PhD scientists on staff, 150 on an advisory board. It reads like the who's who of anti-aging. The scanner is patented. Nobody has that. And this is what I was waiting for, one more click. Okay, help me, this is the karaoke moment.
There you go.
Remember this? 5 golden rings. Thank you. We're the only company ever in history to sponsor the U.S. Olympic team for 10 years. And people wonder, is it really any good? Well, I don't know. The USOC spent 3 years. We spent $50 million making our products good enough for the U.S. athletes. I think it's good enough. You? It's global. Next. We're in 54 markets. There's a pipeline of innovation I'm going to show you. It's amazing. It's an established company, 31 years, New York Stock Exchange. Forbes ranked it number 5 of 10 most trusted companies in America. We've been tested by regulatory. We got in 1991, we lost 50% of our sales force when Barbara Wawa, who was the Oprah Winfrey of her day, went on national TV and said, "It's a pyramid scheme." And the same thing happened in China 2 years ago. Then I've gotten to know the management company. It's one of the most ethical that my job as a stock picker is to evaluate management. Our mission is to be a force for good. In the interest of time, usually I read this out. Last thing you've got to think about is the compensation worth your valuable time? Let's have a look. This is a survey from 1998. It's never been repeated, I'm sorry.